The biggest difference between you and the people who you look up to are that they started and you're still thinking about it. It's one of the most frustrating things in helping entrepreneurs that I deal with on a day-to-day basis, is that seeing so much potential in people, seeing so much heart and love and care. It's like you could be serving so much and helping so much and having such a big impact, and we're stuck. We're stuck. And this was me too. I was stuck. It took me forever to get started, and I thought I had to have the perfect cameraman. My first video, if you go back and watch it on my channel, I had my friend come and film it and record it for me because I was worried about it not being perfect enough, that I didn't know the gear and didn't know the microphone and the lighting and the setup. And I memorized the script because I didn't want to say the wrong words. I had to be perfect. Most of my early videos were still mostly voiceover, because I could write a script and have it perfect and just have B-roll, and it wouldn't be me on camera afraid of making a mistake and saying the wrong things and messing up. And that's one of the main reasons why it took me so long to grow. You know, if you look at my journey of making, for 5 years, 7,000 subscribers, something like that, I was stuck. I was too afraid to do the next thing. I was too afraid to get in the race. I was making content, at least. That was one decent thing. For whatever reason, I stay consistent on doing stuff, but I was afraid to take the next step, the big step, to go off and do it. And a lot of you are already way better than I was when I started. And when I'm on interviews and I'm doing events and presentations, and I see the audience and I see who's there and I see the skill and the heart, this is the thing that kills me the most. It's like the heart. It's like you've got such a good heart. You want to do so much. And then there's just no action. There's no momentum because of the fear. If you could make one change this year that would really move the needle, it would be to stop judging yourself for the content that you're making or the product you're putting out or the service, and just expect it to suck and keep going. So when people ask me, should I do this business or this business? Should I do that business or this one? It's like, well, I don't know. You know, like at the end of the day, it's gonna be what you love doing. All of them could work. Every business model can work and has worked. It's what's gonna be the right one for you. And you won't know until you get out there and start doing it, right? It's like, how do you know what your favorite food is until you get out there and do it? How do you know if you like coffee or not? You know, you have to go off and you take a sip and then you find out. You can't think your way through this. So you can't think your way. You can have some planning, but the planning won't save you. At the end of the day, you have to go off and just do something about it. And in the doing, you'll figure out what makes you come alive and keep going. So let's make it practical. Like, let's give you some steps for how to actually get in the race and start taking some action. Step 1, understand, or at least tell yourself that great ideas flow through you. Great ideas flow through you. That because you came up with the idea, that it's a good idea. Stop judging it. Stop telling yourself you suck. Stop telling yourself someone like you can't do it. That great ideas flow through you. This is a good idea. You need to go do something about it, right? Even just telling yourself that shortcuts the fear, because all of the reasons in your head for why you can't do it is really just fear. If you're thinking about making content and you're worried about the microphone and the camera and the gear and all that, that's just fear talking. It's just you're afraid that it won't be good. And so you're trying to cover your bases, and we come up with all these logical reasons why we can't do it, but really it's just fear talking. So cut through the fear by telling yourself that great ideas flow through you, that you don't want to be sitting here 3 years later still stuck in the same spot, right? What's the difference? Well, how much action you took over those 3 years. And most of us are stuck in inaction because we're paralyzed by fear, and we've come up with rational reasons why we can't do the thing.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with the Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Nina Carmichael, and we made these videos probably because you're the most ambitious person in your circle. But you know you're capable of much more, and you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband Evan Carmichael, and our take of his top 10 rules for success. Enjoy! Rule number 2, develop discipline.
Discipline is your missing ingredient. You've got the heart, you've got the care, you've got the desire to serve, you know you could be doing more, you want to do it for the right reasons, you're not just here to make money, you're here to have an impact and to grow and do amazing things. You know you can do amazing things. What's missing? Discipline. There's just a lack of follow through. It's the constant start and stop and start and stop and start and stop. And for me, there's nothing more, not just frustrating, but sad than seeing somebody who's got so much talent and so much potential and so much of a heart, and just seeing them not win because they're not following through, because you're just not doing the consistent enough work that you're motivated and inspired, and then you're not anymore and nothing happens. And one of the only things that saved me, one of the only reasons why I'm here making these videos and you're watching, and I've had any success in social media, is because I just was disciplined, that I just kept making videos. One of the things I love sharing is my journey of YouTube, because I was not an overnight success story. Every month almost, I'll post to my socials of how I grew month over month, year over year on YouTube. And in the first 5 years, I had 7,000 subscribers or so. So 5 years in of making content, 7,000 subscribers. A lot of you are already ahead of that. A lot of you could get there a lot faster than me. How do you keep going when you're not getting traction? When in year one, you have 100 subscribers. I just had the discipline to keep making content, to keep following through. And 12,000 videos later, here we are. And people can get there faster. You don't have to be as slow as me. I took a long time, and I had a lot of issues. I was shy and insecure and introverted, and felt like you had to be, type A personality to win, and all of these limiting beliefs, all sorts of issues. And you can get there a lot faster than me, but it still requires a discipline to follow through and do it. And I really think it's one of the only things that saved me. I remember sitting down at a Florida outlet mall, and I was sitting there with a friend, and Nina was going shopping, and we spent half an hour at a Starbucks there while she was shopping. And he said, "I'm going to be the next Gary Vee of my industry." It was in music. "I'm going to be the next Gary Vee in music, and you're going to keep doing your thing. Like, let's keep in touch and see how we do and how we grow." And he posted, 3 or 4 years later on his Instagram, and he said, 3 or 4 years ago, I met Evan Carmichael at this outlet mall in Florida. And he had our picture as the post. And I told him I was going to be the next Gary Vee for music, and he's going to keep doing his thing. And Evan went on and did his thing. And I stopped. I didn't have the success that I said I was going to have. And here's the thing. This guy has way more talent than I do. And he's super talented in music, and just better camera presence, more energy, his videos just look better, way more attention to detail. He had all of this stuff, and like a warm, amazing human who cares and wants to serve and wants to see musicians make money and turn their art into something amazing, right? Like, he had all of this stuff, all of it. The only thing he lacked was discipline, and he didn't follow through. And I see that in so many of you. You've got everything. You've got all the ingredients. It's just a lack of discipline and not making enough. It's the lack of, because you're not motivated, you stop. And lack of motivation isn't a good enough reason. You have to follow through.
Rule number 3, change your environment.
The fastest way to change your habits is to change your environment. You ever notice how when you're in a different environment, maybe you go on vacation, maybe you go to an event or seminar, you start doing different things? You are still you, and you do some of the things that you used to do, but all of a sudden you're doing new things that become a part of your regular routine. You ever been away for a couple weeks and discover that you built up some new habits, and maybe some are healthy, maybe some are unhealthy. But if you've ever been away and you notice that you've picked up some new habits, why? Well, it's because the environment demanded it, because everybody else was doing it, because it was so easy, natural, comfortable to do that's why you do it too. And so if you want to be able to switch your habits quickly, you change your environments. Now, you may not always be able to go on vacation or go to events or seminars, so those are options. But it starts with you figuring out, well, what are the habits that you want to develop? Who are the people that you want to be around? And when you are around those people, you will start to think differently, which will lead to you behaving differently. When you see other people doing it, you're going to want to do it more. When it's in your environment more, you're going to want to do it more too. This morning, I was talking to a YouTuber, big YouTuber, bigger than me, more subscribers than me, slightly different niche. And I remember meeting him in California a couple of years ago. And one of the things he was struggling with was staying consistent. And I'm very consistent. And one of the things I was struggling with was staying healthy while I was on the road. And we were having dinner together, and he was eating super clean. He was eating fish and salad, and I probably had a burger or something, and fries. And coming away from that, what I realized was whoever is more confident wins. And when you're around other people, whoever's more confident in the habit that they have will be the dominant habit that both of you end up picking up. So if we were hanging out together more, here's what would happen. I would become a lot healthier in my eating, and he would become a lot more consistent in his content, because we'd be inspired by each other. Because he'd see me working away, make my videos, and he'd feel bad that he wasn't making his, and he'd have to go and start making his. And I see him eating healthy all the time and be like, man, I should be eating healthy. And it would force me to do it as well. That environment switch would allow us to create much better, stronger habits. So now you got to be careful about the kind of people who you're hanging out with. And if you look at the people who you've got right now around you, chances are they're keeping you stuck, they're keeping you small, they're keeping you where you are. And you're probably pouring into them, right? You're the one giving them love, giving them encouragement, giving them support, pouring into them. You're taking your cup and pouring into them, and it's great, and you should keep doing that, and it's amazing, and it's fulfilling. But who's pouring into you, and who's making you get to the next step? Because if you don't have that, you're gonna continue to stay small, or just have slow growth compared to where you could be. So how do we get some practical steps? Okay, that's great. What do we actually do? How do you start making that change happen? Well, the first step is to figure out what is it that you want to get better at. What area of your life or business do you want to be better at? Is it you want to stay more consistent on your habits? You want to learn how to make money? You want to have a better relationship? You want to take care of your health? Like what is the thing that you actually want to get better at? Getting clarity on what that thing is. 2 is to then surround yourself as much as possible with content, not even people, because it could be great to say, hey, awesome, hang around Joe Dispenza all the time and you will become better, you will meditate more, you will solve your awesome. But you don't know Joe Dispenza, and he's probably not taking on students right now or mentees, right? Or Elon Musk or Oprah Winfrey or whoever, right? You don't know them, and so that's not a practical answer, but you can hang around their content. It's why I make these videos every day, because if every day there was a new video for you, hopefully it lifts you to bring some of the best experts in the world, the people that I find inspiring and learn from, to share their message every morning. You don't have that person in your life, but there's videos for you. So step 1, we're figuring out what is it that we want, right? Where do we want to improve and get better? Step 2 is, who are the people who are living it, who are preaching it, who are living it, who actually inspire you? And there's so many different people out there who are doing it, and everybody has their own way. I like to say that, an Eric Thomas is going to yell at you through it, and Oprah Winfrey is going to hug you through it, but they have very similar messages. Whoever's style you connect with the most, have that more consistently in your environment. Follow them on Instagram, subscribe to them on YouTube, put their quotes on the wall around you. Create your own environment of the people who make you feel like you want to do more, who inspire you to step out of your comfort zone and take on those new habits that you want to actually adopt, right? So you're creating a new environment for yourself without having to go live with Joe Dispenza or Elon Musk or Oprah Winfrey. Okay, so I call them aspirational mentors, and that can be fundamental, and that's where most people need to start. because you have access to their books and their videos and their content. You have that access right now, and that can make a big shift in you if you start surrounding yourself with it every day. And then step 3 is to get more in-person connections. And this is more time-consuming and more challenging and harder to find the right fits, but can make a big shift as well in your life. So I don't want to only rely on it. That's why step 2 is actually having just content that you're learning from. But step 3, if there's people that you're learning from, do they have an event? Do they have something coming up? Can you hang around people who are like-minded, who are also taking on challenges? I'm doing a challenge right now inside my Movement Makers program, where Movement Makers is for thought leaders who are trying to get to the next level with their content and break through and have a greater message and reach more people. But a lot of people haven't been as consistent as they should have. Because they're the only ones doing this. They don't know anybody else making content. Their family thinks they're crazy. Like, why are you making another video? They're not seeing results. They don't have a peer group. They don't have anybody to connect with and talk to. And this can relate to any goal that you have. Movement Makers is just for kind of thought leaders making content, but whatever goal that you have, if you're the only one that you know who's doing it, it's really hard to stay consistent on it. So our Movement Makers challenge is every month we have a challenge where you have to make a lead magnet for your business, a solo video, and then 3 collaboration videos with other people in the group. So it forces you to start making content. And for a lot of the members, this is the most consistent they've ever been now in making content, because 1, they're doing it together. You feel like you're doing it with other people, even though a lot of the content that you make outside will still be separate from the members. You're not doing a business together, but it feels like they're connected. We're taking on this challenge together. And then in the collaboration videos, you're connecting with people. You're doing interviews with people. You're sharing your thoughts and feedback. It's not just you talking to a camera in the car with your dogs by yourself anymore. And that really, 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 really matters. It really matters. So getting some kind of support group, connecting with other people who are on the same journey, going to seminars or events of humans that you can talk to and connect with who are doing the thing that you want to do. Because the more that you're around those people, the more you're going to stay consistent on the habits that you want to build. So using that 3-step process can absolutely change your life. It's entirely possible. And if you're watching videos like this, you're already on the growth mindset journey, right? You're already into personal development. You already know you want to do more and serve more and help more. And this helps you elevate yourself to the next level, because you are probably the most ambitious person that you know, that you're hanging out with. And that's a great place to be, because you're serving and helping, but it also sucks because it limits your growth of what you could become. Where if you can, 1, clearly identify, what do you want to change? What is the habit that you want to take on? Where are you not satisfied anymore in your life? Not beating yourself up and saying you suck, but like the next level of growth that you want to accomplish for yourself. And then 2, following people just through content who are living that message, who are not just speaking it, but living it, who when you watch their videos, you actually get inspired to go make a change in your life. Who are those people? Subscribe to them, follow them every day, watch their content, read their books, put their stuff up on your wall as a reminder. You're creating a new environment for yourself. And then 3 is actually connecting with humans, joining a group like Movement Makers or something else, going to events where your tribe is at, so that you are not alone doing this journey, feeling isolated and like you don't belong. Make those 3 changes. It will change your life. The difference between where you are now, where you could be, is just the consistent habits that you're putting in. You know this. I know you know this. Now it's about taking the actual action to stay consistent on those habits.
Rule number 4, use challenges to grow.
Your challenges don't only make you stronger, they allow you to serve better. I think the default answer for a lot of people is that your challenges make you stronger. Your challenges will, to grow muscle, you have to break your muscle first. And all of these obstacles that they put in your way allow you to have a better life. They're making you stronger. They're making you more powerful. And that's all true, yes. And the thing that helps me the most is just tying it back to service, because I think, humans are built to serve. You are built to serve. When you can connect the challenge that you're going through as something that's then going to inspire and help other people, at least for me, it always gives me a lot more strength and a lot more courage to do the thing that I need to do, as opposed to it just being about me getting stronger. I find a lot of times me getting stronger is not enough. It's not enough of a reason compared to it's going to help somebody else as well. So if that's you, hope this video helps you as well. So I think about when I was doing my tour 2019 and I broke my neck. It was one of the most challenging times in my life, and that it's already hard enough. I'm already, on the road. We're quarter of the year on the road, 90 straight days, me, Nina, my cameraman Danny, and there were a lot of challenges in making that whole tour happen, and new city every 4 days, and all of the stuff that goes into, it was my first ever tour. And then I broke my neck 2/3 of the way through. So as if things weren't hard enough, now I break my neck. I can't drive anymore. I'm in insane amounts of pain. I have a concussion, and I'm still making videos. I struggled with the decision. This is a real decision. Do I quit the tour or not? Do I quit the tour? Do I go home? There's still another month on the road. It's not just me, it's also Nina, who has to do a lot more work now. She's got to drive this giant Suburban across the country. Danny, the camera guy, has to do a lot more work. It's a lot of stress. I'm basically out of commission, and all I could do was talk, which is great for speaking, but sucks for everything else. So what do? The thing that made me want to at least try to keep going, I didn't know that I would go for another month, but I thought, let's just do the next city. Let's just do the next city. Let's go to Kansas City. Kansas City was the next stop. Let's go to Kansas City and see what happens. What got me through it was thinking about somebody in the audience, thinking about one of you guys who was struggling with something physically. Up until that point, I dealt with a lot of mental issues, mindset issues, things like believing you're not good enough, lack of self-worth, you don't have a message to share, imposter syndrome, all of those things, right? Even here, we're filming, and we're about to go through a car wash. We're next, so we're probably gonna get some crazy noise. I don't have to talk loud. I used to be so worried about that stuff that I wouldn't film. Like, I can't film going to a car wash, the noise, whatever. Now I look at it as opportunities. Like, let's go. Like, that's not a good enough reason. Maybe the video quality sucks. I hope not. Maybe you can't hear me loud enough. I hope not. But not letting those things get in your way, because that stuff happens all the time. Like, that stuff happens all the time. And look, we're next. You guys can see it says car wash. We're next, depending on how long that guy ahead of us takes. You might see it in this video. I dealt with a lot of those mindset issues, those lack of belief issues, those worthiness issues, and I battled them, and I've been through them, and have a few lessons to share. And over the years of me trialing and failing, and 20 plus years of doing this, my hope is to make the path a little bit easier for you, so that you don't have to struggle as much as I did. The path can be a little bit sooner, a little bit faster, a little bit less painful, right? But I'd never been through anything really physical.
Thank you.
I've broken my toe. I remember breaking my toe and then going for a run, and I was doing an Instagram live at the time. It was like a light run, fast jog, and my toe was hurting so much, and I just kept powering through it. Then later realized I broke my toe. But that's not really anything major, right? For somebody's going through something physical and major, it's like, you broke your toe, come on, it's not a big deal. And so I never felt like I could serve or push people who had a physical limitation, had a physical kind of injury, because I'd never gone through it, and I don't feel right pushing people on things that I haven't experienced in some form myself, right? So here I am, 2019, now I break my neck. Now I have a concussion. I'm in more pain than I've ever been in my life. Concussion, if you haven't been through it, is just devastating, because it's not just the physical pain of not being able to move your body and, neck, and potential having spinal surgery, which is crazy scary, but also not being able to think clearly. For me, I value that a lot. Like, I love thinking, I love problem solving, and not being able to think clearly and just be a vegetable on the couch all day was devastating. So getting through that, and then deciding I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna at least try for the next stop in Kansas City. Why? Because if I can get through this, yes, it's a challenge that will teach me and make me stronger, and I have a lesson that I can learn from it. But if I can get through this, then hopefully it can serve as an inspiration for other people who are going through something physical as well. That it's not just a mindset issue, but they have physical limitations.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Rule number 5, associate with inspiring people.
The reason why you're not following through is because you're doing it alone. When you wake up and you feel like you are by yourself, you are all alone, you have no community, you're not collaborating, you're not doing this with anybody else, it's just massively difficult to follow through. Still possible, absolutely. But this is the life of an entrepreneur. This is why so many great entrepreneurs don't follow through, and it breaks my heart because you've got talent, you've got a desire to serve and to help, and you know you have a story that matters, and you're just not as consistent as you know you could be. And it's not that you suck, it's just that you're doing it alone. This is something I've struggled with in terms of being a great resource for people, because I actually have a very low community need. I think the journey that I went through is almost impossible to model, because I just woke up every day and I still made videos and I still made content, and I did it by myself. And it's not prescriptive. It's really difficult to do it exactly the way that I did. Most people need more community than me. I still need it, but I have a really low, maybe it's just introverted or whatever, but I just don't need it as much as most people. You probably need more community. You probably are not following through because you feel isolated and alone. And the great promise of entrepreneurship is freedom, right? Like, you don't have to have a boss. You don't have to have employees that you hate or people on your team who you hate. You know, you get to pick everything you want. But then to go from having a job where you have community, even if you didn't enjoy the work you were doing, what you got from the job, if you've had one, is community. That you had coworkers, and you had some people who you did like, and you had people to go to lunch with, and you had just human connection every day, where as an entrepreneur you don't have that nearly as much or at all. And so it's very lonely, and it's really hard to do great work when you're lonely. So what's the solution? Like, okay, great. Yeah, you just tore my heart open, Evan. Now what do I do? How do I fix it? Well, first it's just recognizing that is a problem. First is recognizing that there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're amazing. The only problem is you just don't have anybody that you're collaborating with, that you're doing this by yourself. So the answer is we need to now go and find other people to collaborate with. So 1, recognizing that this is a problem and you need to fix it. 2 is then finding a group that you can be a part of. And what we tend to do as entrepreneurs is lead. We want to lead. We want to create groups. We want to build. We want to make. But I would actually advocate for joining a group. 1, you don't need another thing on your plate to lead. You've got enough already that you have to worry about. And 2, when you're the leader of it, it puts you in a slightly different position where it's nice just to participate. It's nice just to have somebody else be in charge, and you just get to show up and be a part of it. So I would look for a community that you could join where it's your people. It's people like you who are trying to do similar things. I look at Movement Makers as an example, and whether you want to join Movement Makers or find your own group, amazing. But Movement Makers, I started as a way for me to help train up and coming thought leaders. It was the initial goal. It's like, hey, I want to solve the world's biggest problem, right? People don't believe in themselves enough. Not everybody's going to learn through my story, but they might be able to learn through yours. Your message, your story, your history, your way of looking at it, the thing that you went through, I haven't gone through. And so that, by definition, allows you to reach people that I can't, that Tony Robbins can't, that Jay Shetty can't, that whoever, Oprah can't, right? Your story can reach people in a way that others can't. And so I want to give you the skills to be able to go off and reach those people. That's why I started Movement Makers. What I realized getting through it is The skills alone aren't enough. The skills are not the main reason why people are not following through. You already have a lot of skills. It's not where you want to be, but you have a lot of skills and you have a lot of heart. So if you take somebody with a lot of skills and a lot of heart and they're still not following through, what's the problem? Community. You're doing it alone. You're lonely. And it's really hard to do it when you're lonely. So I shifted Movement Makers to still be, yes, skills and training and techniques and strategies. And I realized that people were winning when they connected to each other. And at the start, I was doing all the connection. Like, oh, I know this person is doing this and this person is doing that. And so I should connect those two people together. And I was, and that's created businesses. It's created podcasts together. That's created opportunities for people. But it still was limited on me connecting people together, where I wanted to make it that people would connect to each other without me. And that's what we've ended up doing at Movement Makers. One of the things I'm most proud of is we started a challenge. And again, I don't care if you join Movement Makers or not, great to have you, but this concept you can apply to your business. We started a challenge where I was giving people the tactics and telling them what to do, and that they still weren't doing the follow through. And the follow through would be making content, making videos, right? You want to be a thought leader. You got to get your message out there. So I started a challenge, and we started the first one, I think, back in October. So now we're into our 5th challenge or so, where here's the challenge. You have to make 1 video, 1 lead magnet, and 3 collaboration videos around the theme. So the theme might be momentum or impact or believe or belong. We pick a different theme every month, but something everybody can talk to, right? The theme was impact. You can talk to impact within the thing that you do. And by forcing them to collaborate with 3 other people in the group, it really led to a situation where 1 + 1 = 1,000. Because by forcing yourself to show up for somebody else, it made sure that you followed through. Where all of a sudden now people who hadn't made a single video, who might have been in Movement Makers for 3 months and still never made a video, now they're making their first videos. Now they're making their first lead magnets. Now they're making their first solo videos. Suddenly they have some follow through. And suddenly the fears and the excuses go away because they're connected to other people. When you're doing something with somebody else, there's energy there, there's momentum there, and you're much more likely to follow through. So you have to go and get a tribe. Find people who are like you, who have a similar mission. If you look at Movement Makers, everybody's mission is different in the sense that they're trying to serve different people, but everybody's connected in that we want to have an impact. We have a story that matters and we want to share it with the world. That's everybody in the group. The types of people we're trying to reach are different. And so when you are by yourself, you're the only one in your family trying to do what you do, you're the one pouring into other people, right? You're probably the most happy, optimistic, positive person. You're encouraging the people around you. You're pouring into their cups. Great, keep doing that. But who's helping you with that? When you feel low, when you feel down, when you feel not worthy, when you feel not good enough, who's pouring into you to say, hey, let's go do this thing together? Nobody. Right? Your friends, maybe. I mean, if you're lucky and you have some great friends, might be empathetic, might be encouraging to you, but they're not doing the thing that you're doing. They don't understand what you're going through. They could give you some words of affirmation and encouragement, but they don't know how to actually help. Where if you're going through a journey with somebody else, with a group of people, you're just much more likely to follow through and feel connected and feel special and feel like you matter. So step 1 is recognize that there's nothing wrong with you. You're amazing. You've got the heart, you've got the dream, you've got the ability to serve. And step 2 is then to go find your tribe. Go find people who are like you, who you see on your calendar, and you're excited to go meet with them and connect. Whether it's Movement Makers or something totally separate. But don't do this alone. If you could make one change this year for the next 12 months, to have a significant impact on the growth of your journey, commit to just not doing this by yourself and watch everything in your life get better.
Rule number 6, think big.
If you want to make more money, you want to make big money, you have to start thinking on a bigger scale. And that might sound obvious as I say it, but
recognizing your own limiting thinking where you're playing small is one of the most challenging things to do, I think, in the world. I am where I'm at because I've thought big enough, but also I'm not at a higher level because I'm not thinking bigger, period. It's really hard. And so here's a quick example. There was 2 days ago, I was talking to an entrepreneur friend of mine, and he's built a decent business. Inside of 1 year, he's got a $250,000 business, right? That's pretty good business for 1 year. And he went from, being let go from his job and starting this company, and now he's at a $250,000 in revenue. And he messages me just as a fun thing to do. And he's like, "Hey, I'm doing a points run. Where should I go?" It's like, "Hey, if you could fly anywhere, where would you go on a points run?" Like, "What's a points run?" And he said, I'm qualifying for one of the airlines to get a certain level, a certain tier with them, and I need to get a certain number of points so that I can qualify to get in. And I said, "Oh, I don't know. I pay zero attention to that." If you're thinking about going somewhere, instead of flying, this is how you upgrade. This is how you make more money, right? It's upgrading the thinking. He's trying to solve the problem of, I need to get into the points club so that I can get whatever marginal benefits from being in that club. And I said, "You know what you should be thinking of? Instead of flying economy to some city that is however many miles away you need to get your points, what you should be doing is thinking, how do I make it worth my time to fly somewhere where I can afford to fly business class and land a 5-figure deal as a result of being there?" He's got a couple clients right now that if he could go and visit them. We were just on a call, and he's talking about how one of his clients is having a hard time figuring out a standard operating procedure of how they should be applying the knowledge he's giving them and train their team on how to do it, right? That was a problem that just came up for them. It's like, "We love what you're telling us. We love your offering. We're having a hard time executing it and making it standard procedure." The next call that he's doing with them was going to be to train them on how to do it. Great. Hey, instead of thinking about a points run, how about you go fly there and say, "You know what? I'll spend a day with you, sitting down, training you on how to do this." This is a client that is already mid 5-figure client a year for him. That could easily become a low 6-figure client a year for him. So he could more than double the business if they execute on his ideas, right? Because he's not in there doing all the work, but this could more than double his business with this one client with no real extra added cost or expense to him, just pure income at the top. So instead of hopping on a Zoom call with them and training them and going back and forth on email, how about you fly there, spend a day with them, build the relationship even deeper with them because he's never actually met them in person. And that way you take your points run, you still get your points and qualify for whatever discounts you get and benefits. You can fly business class there, have a much better experience, and end up doubling the business with your client and getting an extra 5-6 figures as a result of it. Like, this is the upgrade in the thinking. You want to make bigger money, you have to start thinking about bigger thinking. And I fully acknowledge that I'm not thinking big enough for where I want to go. Every time I think I'm thinking big, I'll watch a Grant Cardone video or I'll watch an Elon Musk video, and Elon Musk is talking about having a backup plan for the planet. That's why we're going to Mars. I watch a Steve Jobs video about taking a dent in the universe, and I realize, oh my gosh, I'm thinking so small. I'm doing nothing. Not in a bad way, in an inspiring, positive way to say, man, you could be doing so much more. Come on, man, let's go. So it's still my biggest problem too. It's the hardest thing to catch because for him and his environment and his friends and how he grew up, a points run is correct thinking. Getting the discount codes is the right thinking. The challenge with that is you're spending time looking for the best deal and looking to save $100 here or a couple $100 there. And you're using your mental energy up on small problems. What my friend is doing is using his mental energy up on trying to save a couple $1,000s when he could be adding 6 figures to his business with the same mental energy. Now, luckily, he brought it up and I was able to call him out on it and suggest a better path forward. If he hadn't, it was a joke, I think, when he sent it. Like, where should I go on a points run? I don't think he expected the answer that I gave him. But I think the only way to get this is to be around the people who can call it out in you. Either physically, I think that's the best. The challenge is it's as you get bigger, as you grow more, there's fewer people who are ahead of you who can push you, right? There's fewer people who can look at what you're doing and say, hey, this is nothing. Play bigger in a loving way, like push you in a loving way. As you climb the ladder, there's fewer and fewer people at the top of the ladder who are ahead of you, right? And so, yes, you want to give back and you want to serve. And as you learn, you reach back and you pull somebody else up to your level, but constantly finding somebody. That's why I love mastermind groups. I love coaching. I love tapping into experts on different topics because they pull me up. Even if I'm an expert at something, I want to talk to my friends who are experts and people who are ahead of me because they push me to be better. And if you don't know those people yet, what are your options? Well, you could join group programs, right? I've got, for example, Movement Makers. I love my Movement Makers program. It's $49 a month. And we meet every 2 weeks and you get to learn from me. And there's other amazing humans who are trying to build up their platforms as well and become thought leaders and experts. But if it's not my program, there's tons of other programs out there. Who do you connect with? Who do you love? Who do you look up to? And you get a little bit of, you may not be able to afford to fly there and meet them, but you can learn from them even in a group setting. If you can't afford that, $49 a month or $97 a month or whatever the programs are is too much for you, then even the free content, even what I'm doing, even these videos here, you get a little bit from some super successful person every time I make a video. If you even just consistently watch those, I've learned a ton from Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Steve Jobs and people who I've never met through my own videos, and they push me and they challenge me. They can't specifically call me out. They can't say, hey, Evan, what you're doing right here, this thing that you're doing, like the points run, is small, right? You shouldn't be doing that. But they can at least give me encouragement and motivation in seeing what they're doing inspires me to want to do something bigger.
Rule number 7, serve others.
When you are accountable to other people, you are more likely to follow through. Whether it's in entrepreneurship, whether it's in personal development, whether it's working out or working on yourself, when you are feeling like somebody else is counting on you besides you, you're way more likely to follow through. Think about going to the gym, right? You may not like going to the gym. You may find reasons to put off going to gym. Maybe it's early morning. Maybe you're tired. You didn't sleep well last night. Your muscles still hurt from yesterday. All sorts of reasons and excuses you come up with. But if you know that somebody else is going to be there, your friend is going to be there waiting for you, you're way more likely to follow through because now it's not just about you. I created a challenge inside my Movement Makers program. And Movement Makers is a program I created to help thought leaders, experts who want to build up their following and want to get their message out to the world. You got a big message in here, let's get it out to the world. And you train with me, but you also get to connect with each other. And I was frustrated that people were not making enough content. You've got such a big message, such a big potential voice, your story matters, and people were not making enough content. And everybody was living, not everybody, but a good chunk of people were living inside the typical reasons we all come up with, right? I'm too busy, I don't know what gear to use, I don't like how I look on camera, my videos suck, over and over and over, the same reasons. And so I decided to do something a couple months ago that was different. I said, you know what? We are gonna do a challenge because the thing that's missing is momentum. You guys have the heart and the soul and the care. Just like, if you ever meet anybody in Movement Makers, it's just good people. Just, some of the nicest, friendliest, most caring, most giving people that I've ever met. You've got everything. You're just missing momentum. You're just not putting that up there because there's too much blockage in your head. You need momentum. And so out of that frustration, I came up with the Momentum Challenge. And my goal with the Momentum Challenge was for them to make content, but not just make content, actually create the content in a way that can generate business for them. So the challenge was structured in 5 pieces of the content. One was a solo video, and the theme was momentum. So you have to make a solo video on momentum. 2 is 3 collaboration videos with other people in movement makers. So you need to do an interview with somebody and collaborate on the theme of momentum. And then the third thing was to do a lead magnet on momentum. So lead magnet basically implies that you create a PDF or you create a unlisted video that you can share in return for people giving you their email address. So they email you, you give them the PDF, and now they're on your email list, and you can use that to continue to build the relationship and ultimately work with them, hopefully in some capacity, right? Where you're serving, caring, and making money in the process too. So that's the challenge. And whoever's in, you have the whole month to do it. And at the end of the month, whoever completes the challenge, we're going to do a Clubhouse Live all together and celebrate. I didn't know how it would go. I hope people would take me up on it, but it's easy to have a lot of excitement at the beginning, right? Have you ever been excited by something at the beginning and then pretty quickly you fall off the tracks, right? Has that ever happened to you? We're talking about a month here. It's not just make one video today. It's you got to stay consistent for a month. You got to make 5 pieces of content in a month. And for a lot of people, they didn't know how to do collaborations and never done an interview with somebody else. For a lot of people, they didn't know what a lead magnet was or how to make one or how to save a PDF or how to set up a landing page, how to do all the tech behind the scenes, right? And those are the excuses that they were holding on to for why they couldn't win in their own business. But now it's being forced. Now you have to do it. And I didn't know how well it would work out. And fortunately, it went insanely well. People had some of the best conversations of their lives. People finally got the tech side of their business figured out with landing pages and lead magnets. People started forming alliances and partnerships and cooperations and joint ventures with each other that I'd never even anticipated or seen. Why? Because they were committed to each other. Because now it wasn't just about doing it for themselves, it was about doing it with somebody. And here's what's important. It's not just doing it by yourself or for somebody, it's doing it with somebody. That makes a big difference, because if you're watching this channel, you're probably a heart-driven entrepreneur, right? That's why I love you. It's why you're here. You're a heart-driven entrepreneur. You want to serve. You want to make money. You want to have an impact, right? It's not just about the dollars, but also putting something positive out into the world that you're proud of. Whether it's making content like this or products or services, you want to serve. You are built to serve. It's why you're here. And I love that. And so you can connect to the mission and the service because you're doing it for somebody, right? You're doing it for your audience. You're doing it for your customers. You're doing it for the people who are going to consume what you're creating. That's very different though than doing it with somebody, because most entrepreneurs, and this is a good gut check or look in the mirror for yourself, most entrepreneurs are doing it by themselves. Even if you have a team, you still feel like you're doing it by yourself. There's nobody who actually gets what you do. Does that sound familiar? Do you feel like you're kind of alone on this? People who support you and might cheer you on, but they're not in the same boat. They're not trying to do what you do. They don't know how to help besides giving some words of encouragement. So you feel like you're doing it by yourself. And man, is it hard to do something that's hard when you're by yourself. And that's where you need the mental toughness and the discipline and the scheduling and the calendar and you do hard things. And one of the best hacks to make sure you actually follow through is you have some accountability. And not just somebody to hold your feet to the fire to say, hey, what are you doing? You don't need a boss, but you need to feel like you're doing this with people, that you're doing your thing, but with others. And I think that's where the Movement Makers Challenge just really played out super well, is that now all of a sudden people are booking collaborations with each other and they know what to talk about, where before they wouldn't book an interview because they didn't know what questions to ask. People are now helping each other with their landing pages and lead magnets, where in the past they would tell themselves, I don't know the tech, I'm too confused, I need to hire somebody, but I have no money to hire somebody. And now all of a sudden they're getting it done. Now it's happening. where months or a year might have gone by and they still hadn't done it. Now all of a sudden there's momentum happening. Why? Because they committed to somebody else, and because they committed to the group that they want to complete this thing. And then the celebration, when we did our clubhouse at the end of the month, the stories and the emotion was just so amazing. It became, Movement Maker started as me sharing a message. I'm going to teach you how to XYZ. And it became so much more about the family and the community and the connection that really people are following through, not just because of the ideas that I'm giving them, but because they have a group of people that they're doing this thing with. So find your own group, or find one person. I have something I remind myself of constantly, that I like to collect good people. I want to find good people. I want to be around good people. I want to be around the people who fill me up, who make me feel like I'm worthy, I can do great things, make me energized. I leave them feeling better about myself than when I came in. I want to be around those people. And when I find somebody like that, I want to fight to find more time with them. And as an introverted, shy person, that can be really difficult and awkward. And I'm still afraid to ask for help. And I probably still don't do that enough. Somebody, there was a speaker who I spoke at his event, and he's like, "How can I help you?" I was like, I'm just here to serve. I wanted to help, no problem, and he wrote back, said, "No, I owe you. Like, how can I help you?" And it's still something I'm working on and doing a better job in asking for help, because I'll default to just find the solution myself. Don't want to burden people. Is the story that is in my head that I need to fix. But when you can find people to do something with, when you are on your path and you feel alone and you're struggling and the motivation isn't there, but then you know that somebody else is on the same journey with you, you're so much more likely to follow through. And so I encourage you not to do this alone, not to live life alone, not to run your business alone, that you'll have a greater degree of joy, of happiness, of impact, of service, of momentum, of progress, of results, when you have people, even one person, who you feel like you're doing this with. So don't try to be the hero all the time and feel like you have to do everything yourself. Don't think, well, I'm doing this for people and that's enough. Make it a goal of yours that in the next 30 days, you're going to find somebody who's going to help hold you a little bit accountable, and you're going to hold them accountable too. You're giving just as much as you're taking. And together, you're going to create something amazing. It's a true scenario where 1 + 1 = 14. That you plus them equals tremendous growth for both of you. You don't have to do this alone. Get somebody to help you stay accountable.
Rule number 8, keep making progress.
The way to push past failure is to keep making progress. Part of the reasons why you stick on failure and feeling so bad about yourself and it's never going to work out, it's because there's nothing new that you're working on that's exciting, that you're building towards, that you feel like you're making progress on. Because when you're making progress and you're moving forward, you can't feel like a failure, and you don't have time to think about the failures that you've had. People ask me all the time, "Hey, what do you do when one of your videos fail?" Like, my videos fail all the time. My videos fail all the time. And can I learn from them? Yes. And can we look at the data and the analytics and show, hey, when this happened, your video tanked? Yes. And we do that and we learn from it. But I don't have time to sit there and look at all of just the failures and sit on it, because I've got more videos that I need to make. Another video is coming out tomorrow, and another video is coming out the next day, and another video is coming out the next day. And I don't know how many videos we put out every day across all of our channels, but it's a lot of content. And I'm so focused on the next thing that I'm less focused on the one that was. So learn from that. Awesome. Now move forward. And when you don't have anything that you're moving forward towards, that's when it starts to really hit hard. And so I think that's really important. I think we get too caught up on our first one and it being amazing and nobody liking it, and so we're gonna stop. And even for me, my first video, I forget how many months it was between my first video of all time and then my second video, but it was a while before I kept going, because the first video didn't do as well as I thought it would do. I wasn't as good as I thought it was gonna be. I was way more nervous than I thought I was gonna be, and I got no comments, right? It's like my mom and my sister commented on my video, and I felt like a failure, so I stopped going. And the thing that saved me the most over however many years of making videos, a decade plus, has been you keep going. You keep making content, you keep creating, you put it in your calendar, and you keep doing something to build momentum towards a dream that you want. And so I think that's incredibly valuable. Whether you're going through a big failure or a mini failure, I think it helps. When I look at big failures in my life, right? So a video failing, that's a small failure, right? Like this, if this video doesn't go and blow up, it's a small failure. But big failures, the two biggest ones was one personal and one business. The business one is in my first company. I quit. I'm a business partner. I felt like a loser. I was not making money, right? I'm making $300 a month, having no results, no traction. I just feel like a total failure and nothing was working out. And I told my business partner that I quit. And the thing that got me through it was eventually just realizing, hey, somebody else has done this. I can model success. And I looked at Bill Gates and how he started Microsoft, and I learned from that and I built my company. But it was the progress, the moving forward, instead of being stuck on how everything sucks and I suck and I'm not getting results and I'm just failing. The thing that got me the energy to keep going was feeling like there's progress towards a new idea or a new strategy to help me accomplish my goals. My biggest personal failure was getting divorced over 10 years ago. And that was really rough. You know, it felt like a personal failure. I mean, it ended up being the best thing for both of us. But at the time, it felt like a huge failure. Even just saying that I, am divorced, it just felt like a giant failure, that I suck as a human, that I couldn't make this work. And that took a while to get through. And eventually the thing that helped me was I pulled up a dating app and I saw options. I was like, oh, you know what? Okay, maybe this could work or that could work. And it's like the idea of progress towards something instead of being stuck in the past is the thing that started to get me through to build some momentum. Understand that if you're living in failure right now, it's just the past. You're living in the past. You're frustrated with what happened and what you should have done differently and could have done differently, and you wish you said this or did that or acted a certain way. You're just constantly repeating the past. Where to get out of the past, to get out of the failure, now we need to think present and future. What are we working towards? What are we building towards? What are we creating and making? And as soon as you can shift from past to present or future, that starts to allow your brain to shift into forward momentum and progress instead of living in failure. So some of the steps that you can do that I think can help. 1, put activity into your calendar. So whatever you're working towards, if it didn't work out once, awesome, put it in your calendar to keep going. Today's a Tuesday as I'm filming this video. Tuesday is my video day. I'm making content on Tuesday. We're here and we're sitting in the parking lot. My wife Nina is running some errands, shipping out some Built to Serve books, I believe, right now here at the shipping center. And I'm making content because it's in my calendar. If I didn't have content day and it wasn't scheduled in, I wouldn't be making content. I'd be doing something else. Or I might be thinking about all the past failures that I had in my content. But because this is scheduled in my calendar, I'm making progress and moving forward. So whatever you want to make progress and move forward towards, have chunks of time in your calendar dedicated to doing it. 2, have something that inspires you. It could be people, it could be remembering what impact you're trying to have, your big mission or your vision that you're trying to accomplish. One of the things that really helped me early in my career is I made a PowerPoint file of all the people who came to my events, my seminars, my speaking gigs, and the message that they had for me. They wrote to me because I feel great the next day after an event, but then I would lose the vibe, I'd lose the momentum. It didn't feel like, who cares, it doesn't matter anymore. But I would watch this PowerPoint file where I put their quotes and how much of an impact I was having on them. And so it reminded me of why I do what I do and gave me more energy, momentum to keep moving forward. That becomes critical. Like, what inspires you to want to move forward? Maybe it's watching videos like this. Maybe it's looking at testimonials from the people who you've helped. Maybe it's remembering your big goal and dream of what you're trying to accomplish. But what inspires you to want to start building some momentum. And then 3, model success and find the people who are doing the thing or have done the thing that you're trying to do, and learn from them and study them. And what that does is it gives you hope and strategies. When you are studying people who've done the thing that you want to do, it gives you the hope that it's possible for you too, right? Because when you look at their story, they probably started with less than what you have right now. And in studying them, you can say, oh, if they could do it, maybe I can too. It's just that hope, because you don't see anybody in your family or friend circle doing what you want to do. And so it feels impossible. But when you're around the people who are doing it, even just by reading their book or watching their videos, it gives you the hope that it's possible. And then 2, it gives you the strategy of what you could be doing. So how do you go from where you are now to where you want to be? Well, if you're modeling success and you see what they did, it gives you hope, plus the strategy to actually go off and execute. So coming back to the theme of failure, what this video is all about, you're going to have tons of failure. It's going to happen. Like if you are not failing, it means you're not taking a big enough shot, right? If you're not failing, you're just doing things that you know how to do. Therefore, you're just in your comfort zone. Therefore, you just hate your life, right? If you have 0 failure happening in your life, then you're taking 0 chances and you're just doing what you know how to do, and you'll be bored and you won't like your life. So recognize that failure is part of the process. And as soon as we can move from past, I suck as a human, I made all these mistakes, to, okay, I'm moving forward, we're making progress, we got a big thing that we're chasing down. When you can move from failure to progress, it gives you the momentum, it gives you the hope, it gives you the energy, and ends up giving you a lot better results as well.
Rule number 9, set yourself up to win.
Some businesses are just easier to build and to scale than others. Some businesses have a high growth market, and some of them are slow growth. It doesn't mean that you can't win, but the opportunity is going to be much different. The upside is going to be much different depending on the market that you're going into. I love to say that a successful entrepreneur is one who combines what you love doing with where there's an opportunity. If you love doing it, but there's no opportunity, or it's really small, then you've got a hobby. It can be a really fulfilling hobby, but it's when you love doing it and there's a big opportunity, that's when you start to win. Now, if there's a big opportunity, you don't love doing it, you're not going to win either. You can build an okay business if there's a big opportunity, but you don't like doing it, but only for so long, because then you're going to quit. You're going to hate your life because you're waking up every day and doing work that you don't like doing, and you're going to quit. And this is where a lot of entrepreneurs struggle. They do one of those 2 things. They try to start a business just around their hobby, what they're passionate about, but there's no market opportunity. They don't know how to tie it into real demand, so they never build a business, just a hobby on the weekends and evenings. Or they're just chasing the hot opportunity and they don't care about the business. And so either way, you're going to lose in both those scenarios. You win by doing the work that you love that has a big opportunity upside to you as well. I want to share 2 quick examples that happened to me in the past week that I think could be really relevant and valuable. One was that a dear friend of mine asked me, what social media platforms am I focusing on? And we're talking about Instagram, because he wants to go more hardcore on Instagram, wanted to know what I was doing on Instagram. And I said, you know what, right now I'm not doing much on Instagram. You know, I'm not spending a lot of my effort, my time, my energy on Instagram. I love serving, I love helping, I love getting the message out there. I want to do it in a way that has the biggest potential for impact and reach in the projects I'm working on. So he said, well, where are you spending your effort and energy? Well, YouTube is still number 1. YouTube is number 1 because YouTube is still the best place to get your message across. It has been for the past couple years, and it's only getting bigger. More people are going to YouTube for content, for education. It's only getting bigger. So YouTube is still number 1. But then after YouTube, where am I spending most of my time? Twitter and Discord. Discord, I think, is the best place to be for community. And Twitter, it's surprising how much Twitter has picked up. Twitter was one of the first social networks I was on. And I not left it, but kind of ignored it for years. And now it's back. It's back, baby. So I'm spending a lot of my time on Twitter and Discord and, of course, YouTube. And why? Well, because that's where people are. That's where the impact is. That's where you can get your message out. And so I don't care about the platform. I care about reaching people. So you could spend all day long working on Instagram, or you could have spent all day long still, if you were working on MySpace, creating your account. Does MySpace still exist? I don't even know. It's just not a big opportunity. And so
yeah, again, what do I care about? I care about helping entrepreneurs. I care about getting the message out there. So then it becomes using your head. Okay, where's the opportunity? YouTube, Discord, Twitter. P.S. If you want to join my Discord server, it's free. I'm there every day. evancarmichael.biz. Come check us out. The second quick example was I'm talking to a successful entrepreneur who wants to move from his big business that he's built, tens of millions of dollars in revenue, to starting a business to help other entrepreneurs get their companies going. And he's having a hard time getting this thing off the ground, and he's having a hard time monetizing it. And he's having a hard time getting people to pay him for things. And I said, well, the immediate opportunity, if you have a long horizon, great. You'll eventually win because your brain will play out, you'll get better at the game, etc. But the best thing that you can do right now, if you want to monetize it, is coach people who are inside of your industry that you have domain expertise. Because what he's coming at doing is just helping people with personal development. He's coming in, helping them believe in themselves, helping them overcome their limiting beliefs, helping them fix their mindset, get their schedule right, all that stuff. But then if they're off building their own business, he's only adding one little piece. Now imagine if you could add the tactical information and the contacts as well as the mindset and the motivation. So there's three entrepreneurs that I invested into recently: Drew, Jeremy, and Bo. And these three guys, some of them had no experience. I think Jeremy he was a stock boy at a grocery store, and he's mid six figures revenue 18 months later. Why? Well, because yes, I'm giving him the belief and the mindset and the motivation, but I can also give him contacts. I can also make introductions for him. I can also give him information about the industry to know what he's doing right and what he's doing wrong. And so when I'm looking at making an investment into an entrepreneur, I want to be able to help them beyond just believe, because I can give believe to anybody. But who would I want to give believe to that have the highest impact for success? It's going to be people who I can give contacts to. Jeremy does YouTube consulting. There's people who contact me all the time for YouTube consulting. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be in that business, so I can give it to Jeremy. Perfect. But if you were you were an arborist. Can you see the trees? I guess not. It's kind of blurry. If you're an arborist, I can help you believe in yourself. I can give you some business model ideas, but I can't make contacts or introductions for you. And so you have to be smart about the opportunities you take on. It has to be something that you deeply, deeply, deeply care about. And then inside that, find the opportunity. Because the market is moving, and the market hopefully is getting bigger. And if you're inside a growing market and you love what you're doing, that's a slam dunk. That's a home run for you. So what's the methodology now to help figure that out? Well, one, you have to start with, what do you naturally just love doing? What do you love doing? What can you wake up and get? What are you getting lost in? Where are you spending your time? What are you daydreaming about? Not about the result, not about the cars and the yachts and the whatever, right? Not that. That's a result. What do you get lost in the process of doing? What industry do you actually care about? Where are you spending your time? Where are you researching? What doesn't feel like work for you, right? So that's step one, is connecting to something that you're actually passionate about, not just trying to make money, right? Making money is important, but it's not step number one. Figure out that idea. Next is, okay, how do we turn that into a market opportunity? Where is the business actually growing that we can connect our talents and our passions to? So if you love sharing a message, like my first example, great. Now be strategic about the platform that you're going to pick. It used to be Instagram. Now it's YouTube, Twitter, and Discord. If you love coaching people and consulting and investing in people, great. Connect it to where you actually have domain expertise and can make introductions for people and take a piece of their business, as opposed to just charging for the hour or just helping people with mindset and not actually introductions and tactics, right? So you love the opportunity. It makes you come alive thinking about it, and there's actually something for you to grow, right? Logically, strategically, there's a way for you to make money doing it. When you can combine those two things, you have a much, 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 much higher degree of success.
Rule number 10, the last one before our very special bonus clips: live with your purpose.
I'm going to substitute mission for purpose. Your purpose is what you are here for. Your purpose is what do you wake up excited to do? Your purpose is what's the impact that you want to have on the world? What do you want to be known for? What do you want to create? Your purpose is the thing that keeps you going when you want to quit, when you want to give up, when you feel like it's not happening fast enough, when your goals aren't enough to keep you going. What is the thing that keeps you going? It's your purpose. To feel like what you are doing today matters, is meaningful, is going to have an impact. And people have asked me, somebody asked me yesterday, I was doing an IG Live, and somebody asked me, how do you keep going? You're one of the most consistent people I've ever seen in my life. How do you keep going? How do you keep making videos? Well, I feel like it matters. I'm living my purpose. I don't think what I'm doing is that unique, that special. I think everybody can do it. It's within reach for everybody to do it. The problem is most people are just chasing opportunity and just trying to make a quick buck. And making money is very important. It is very important. It's just not number one. Number one is your purpose. If you woke up and felt like today mattered, that it was going to mean something to somebody, you're going to show up in a totally different way. You're going to show up with more energy. It's going to be easier to say yes. I was making videos for years with getting almost no views, 0 comments. Why? Because I felt like what I was doing mattered. That if 100 people saw my video, that's 100 people that saw my video. Where if you're just chasing the end goal, if you're just chasing, oh, I need to have 1 million subscribers, or I need to have X in my bank account, you stop. You will quit because it gets too hard. Where if you actually felt like, I'm going to show up today and I'm going to do something that matters and it's going to change at least one person's life. There are some days when you feel like you can change the world, right? There are some days when you feel like I can do anything. I can change the world. I'm going to X, right? There are some days when you actually feel that and it's amazing. And there are some days where that feels too big and too scary and your purpose feels too overwhelming. And it should be aspirational. It should be beyond your reach. It should not be something that just gets solved in your lifetime. It's something that you want to swim forever, to climb forever, to keep chasing down. So there are some days where it feels too big. And on those days, don't stress about it being too big. Worry about, hey, I'm just going to help one person. For me, when I'm stressing out about making content, making videos, speaking on stage, whatever else I'm doing, some days like, I'm going to change the world today. And other days is, I hope I can reach a few people with the video. This is a Tuesday for me. I record videos on Tuesday. Every Tuesday I make content. It's in my calendar. And it's always the most stressful day for me in my week because I always want to make the best that I can. I want today's videos to be the best that I can with what I've got because I want to have an impact. I want hopefully this video and the way that I say it and just hope that this is the one that finally resonates with at least one person. The hope isn't I need this video to go get 1 million views or I'm a failure. The hope is that for you, maybe you're the one today that the way that I say it hits you in the right spot that pushes you towards some kind of action. To take that thing that's been sitting inside your heart, that you've been sitting on for a long time, that you know you want to do, and get the permission, get the courage to actually go off and do the thing. That's what purpose does for you. Purpose demands that you grow into a better version of yourself because you won't do it just for yourself. If your goals are just purely selfish, if it's just to have money in your bank account or buy a certain car or whatever, the goals just for yourself will not sustain you through the long stretches of bad times that it takes to go off and actually build something meaningful. The thing that sustains you is feeling like this is of greater service to other people than just me. Okay, so everybody has a purpose. The purpose is the thing that gets you going. The purpose is the thing that keeps you motivated. The purpose is the thing that makes you want to do something today. How do you find it? Well, finding it doesn't have to be a difficult process. I wrote about it in Built to Serve. I believe humans are built to serve, and finding your purpose comes from I call it your why, and your why comes from your pain. Your purpose comes from your pain. Your purpose is not something that changes next year or the year after or the year after. It's not what's my purpose for this year. that's a decent enough conversation. Even figuring that out, if you wanted to go down that path, what's my purpose for the year? It's already more self-awareness than what 99% of the world has, but that's still not your life's purpose. Your purpose is the thing that at 120 years old, you're still obsessed about. My purpose isn't to grow my YouTube channel. I don't know if I'll be doing YouTube at 120 years old. That's too far away for me to think about. My purpose is to try to solve the world's biggest problem, which is that people don't believe in themselves enough. And when I'm 120 years old, that will still be there, and I will still be doing whatever the modern technology is, right? If it's YouTube, amazing. If it's VR, something totally different, I'll be doing that because I want to solve that problem. That's what I wake up every day trying to do. Why? Well, because the purpose comes from my pain, because what I struggled the most with was me. Oh, Nina brought some coffee. We love you, Nina. Look at the steam. Look at the steam.
I bought this guy coffee.
And you bought the homeless guy coffee?
He said it's his birthday.
It's his birthday? Yeah. Look at Nina. Yeah. So special. See, she's spreading her purpose. Love it. My purpose came from my pain. I struggled so much as an entrepreneur. I felt the lowest as a human. I felt worthless. I quit on my business partner. I thought it was never going to work out. I just felt incredible pain. I felt lonely, isolated, worthless. And I did quit on my business partner. And then luckily I came back the next day and just decided I can't quit on this yet. And I'm still making all of this content, all of my material. How many years later? Let's see, that was when I was 19, 20. I'm 41 now. So 20 plus years later, still helping, still making content, still going. And it's going to be another 80 years of doing this. Because there are so many people, millions of people who are 19-year-old Evan right now struggling with the same thing. Whatever you struggled with, think about in your life the deepest, most traumatic experience where you felt worthless as a human being, the most painful emotionally moment that you had to go through. And you barely made it. You know, you didn't triumph your way through it. You struggled, but you made it. And now you're here. And you're still not where you want to be, but you're way further ahead than you used to be, right? You, right now, could go back to you from 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, and give some great advice. That's your purpose. To know that there are millions of people right now who are currently the person you used to be, and they may not make it through. They may not make it through like you did. You had the strength, you had the courage, you had the strategies, you found a way, and you made it through. And they may not. And they need you. They need your voice. They need your hope. They need your inspiration. They need your message. They need you in a way that they won't listen to me. They won't listen to Tom Bilyeu or Tony Robbins. They won't listen because they don't connect to us, but they will connect to you because you are like them. So it doesn't have to take you years to figure out your purpose. You don't have to go to a retreat. You don't have to go meditate on a mountain. You don't have to hire a fancy business coach. You don't have to do any of that. You already know it. You go back to the most painful moment in your life where you felt worthless as a human being, and then just deeply connect to that and feel and know that there are many people out there right now who are that right now, and they have no hope and no guidance and no leadership and no wisdom, and they feel stuck, and they feel alone, they feel afraid, they feel ashamed, they're not reaching out, they're not asking for help, and they're going and they're searching, they're going to YouTube, they're going to YouTube, they're going to YouTube, they're going to YouTube. How many times do I have to say that? They're going to Google, they're going to Twitter, they're going to Facebook, they're searching for help, for answers. You could be the one that shows up. And if you actually felt that on some days you could change the world, and on some days you could change one person's life. If you actually felt that, you will show up completely differently. Finding your purpose and living it is the thing that gives you the motivation, the strength, the confidence to show up one more day and keep going.
The number one thing you can do for your confidence is to do scary things. When you come up against something that's scary, that's difficult, that's hard, and you don't do them, you're telling yourself that you can't and that you suck. You're teaching yourself with every inaction that you're the kind of person who plays small. You need to flip that thinking. It's scary, you do it. It's scary, you're jumping. because you do scary things. You want to be scared. If you have things that make you scared, it means you're growing, you're learning, you're getting better. If there's nothing in your calendar that makes you scared in the next month, you hate your life. That's actually most people. Most people don't have anything in their calendar that is scary, and they look at their calendar ahead and they hate their life. They're bored. They're photocopying the same day over and over again. You don't want that. So the goal isn't to not be scared, because that means you're playing small. The goal is to find things that are scary and then to teach yourself that you do them. We often get inspired, whether it's watching a video like this, doing, hearing an interview from Michael or somebody else, reading a book. How many times you've read a book and been inspired, but then you don't do anything. And we say, okay, tomorrow we're going to do it, and the next week we're going to do it, and then nothing ends up happening. So if you got inspired by this, you took any idea from this, the best thing you can do is today take one small piece of action towards it. If your goal is, I want to be a YouTuber as well, great. The best thing you can do is make a video. If your goal is to write your own book, great. The best thing you can do right now is write the first page of content and expect it to suck. Just expect it to suck. Your first page is going to suck. Your first video is definitely going to suck. It doesn't mean you suck as a human. It just means you don't have the skill set yet. Why would you have the skill set if it's your first time doing it? So just expect to suck, but get started, because that's the thing that most people miss. There's a lot of smart people who consume a lot of content, who can say what I'm going to say before I say it because they've seen so much of it, and have read so many books, thousands of books, and have them memorized, but then they're still stuck in life because you're not taking the action. So the most important thing you can do when you're reading a book, at least I think, when you're reading a book or when you're watching a video, go pause it. Put the book down for a second. Pause the video, and then go take some immediate action from it. If you look at all those books on Michael's shelf behind you, if you all have that collection, and in each one of those books, you actually took just one idea away from it and did something about it, your life will be dramatically different. So the message is, do something today. Do something today to get some momentum on your big goal. I feel like what I do matters. And I think that's really, really important. I think people who are starting a business only trying to make money often burn out and don't make money. I've been doing YouTube for 12 years now. We've done over 10,000 videos. Not all of them are public. And people ask me, well, how do you keep going? Like, how do you not burn out? How do you stay consistent? We haven't missed a day of uploading video in maybe 7, 8 years, something like that. Something crazy. Well, how? Because I love what I'm doing. Because I feel like it matters. Because this isn't it. Look at this interview here with Michael. Is this work? This doesn't feel like work for me. This is fun. This is a holiday in Canada for me right now. This is our Independence Day right now. We're filming this on Canada Independence Day right now, and I'm here talking with Michael because it's fun, right? And so when you're doing work that you love and you feel is having an impact, it's a lot easier to stay positive and excited and have momentum. Where if you're forcing yourself to do something that you hate because you think it's going to make you money, that's when you start diving on the path of boredom and maybe ultimately depression.
What I love doing is I want to teach myself, I want to inoculate myself against judgment. I want to teach myself that if my heart's beating, boom, 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 it's a sign that I need to go do the thing. Most of the things that we're afraid of doing are because of other people's opinions. Right?
Yeah,
you're playing small because you're worried how somebody's going to judge you. You'll sing in the shower, but you won't sing on the street corner. You'll record a video, but you won't post it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right? You want to do great things, but you're afraid of the reaction that's going to happen. So that if you can feel that, then it's, man, I don't want to live my whole life playing small because of somebody else's opinion of me.
Yeah.
Now, we got entrepreneurs who are watching. Entrepreneurs, we want to do different things. We want to change the status quo. There's a lot of people who want to protect the status quo. All those people who want to protect the status quo, they won't like you by default just because of what you represent. Without knowing you, they just don't like what you represent, so they're going to hate on you.
Yeah, you represent the idea of what they could be doing possibly if they were willing to put themselves out there.
Sure, you're taking stuff away from them. You know,
Yeah.
they don't like that, so they hate you just by definition.
Right.
So if you want to go off and have a huge impact, you're going to get the bigger impact you want, the more people are going to line up against you who want to protect what currently is.
Yeah.
And so if you can't do something as simple as ask a girl out or sing on the street or something simple, then you're never going to do the big thing.
I did everything myself at the beginning. I was doing one video per week on YouTube. And then the first hire I had was an editor. And that let me go to one video a day instead of just one video a week. And so the sooner you can start to incorporate people in your life who can support you, either emotional support, Nina, my wife, now is involved in my business, is my chief heart officer, and does a lot of work inside the company. But at the beginning, she didn't know anything about YouTube besides watching. She didn't give me any advice or really know what to do, but just supporting me, just encouraging me, just understanding me. It makes a big difference when you have somebody in your life who's just there for you and understands you, even if they can't give you practical knowledge, just that support is helpful. But then also the people who can actually do the thing that you need help with. Even if it's for 1 hour a week or 1 hour a day. Like that, the first person I hired was 1 hour a day. And that saved 1.5 to 2 hours a day of my time because he was better at the thing than I was. So you don't need to have a big budget to go hire somebody. But if you have a big mission, then you have to realize that ultimately you can't do this alone, and make a commitment that by the end of next month, you're going to have somebody else on your team helping you.
I think 99.999% of people are built to serve. I think we get happiness by helping other people with what we can help them with. I think there's a tiny percentage of people who enjoy killing people. They got brain chemicals kind of messed up, but most people aren't like that. Right. Thankfully, we wouldn't be here.
In general,
we want to think of your greatest moments. They involve somebody else. Think of your happiest, most proud moments of all time. They involve somebody else. You've helped. The winning for you, the great moments won't just be receiving some check or making a lot of money. It's like, how are you going to use that to help somebody else? So we're wired to serve. Just not everybody's wired to serve the world. So you have to understand your style. For people watching this show, they're probably wired to serve the world. Entrepreneurs, we want to make a big impact, a big change, a big difference.
Yeah.
But not everybody is built that way. Some people they want to serve the closest people, friends, family.
Yeah.
My wife is still in touch with people from her grade 1 in China. She keeps in touch with people. I go, wow. She's a master networker, I guess, too. But I don't care that much about people like that. I want to help the world. There was a really interesting question that somebody asked me, would you rather? Would I rather have 100,000 people really understand my message and get it, or my son? And I picked 100,000 people.
Wow.
And my wife picked this up.
Wasn't happy.
Right? Now, I don't know what, no, she wasn't not happy. She gets it, but it's just a different approach. Right. Now, where does it, I don't know, what's the number? Is it 1,000? Is it 5,000?
Right, yeah. I
don't want to go down that slippery scale. but that idea of, ultimately, if my wife really needed something from me, I would be there for her. But at the end of the day, I need to be free to be doing the work that I love doing.
Yeah.
And so you have to find a way to serve. I was in New Mexico, and I was doing, on Super Bowl Sunday, my workshop. And it was the smallest group on our tour. And we were talking about morning routines. And there was a woman there, and I asked her, what's the most important part of your morning routine? And she said, prayer. I said, so you pray, how often do you pray? Every day, every day, every day. She prays, perfect. How often do you feel the prayer? How often do you feel the connection? And how often are you just saying the words? And she said, like half the time. Great. Other people might look to her and say, well, look, you do it every day. Even for herself, she might look at herself and say, great, I did it every day. As achievers, we like to check the box, right? You like to check the box, say, I did it, I did it, I did it, I did it, I did it. I prayed, I watched the video, I read the book, I brushed my teeth, whatever. You have your checklist and you did it, right? And you feel great that you did it. But if you don't get the feeling of courageousness and you just check the box, it doesn't count. So watching a video might be part of your morning routine. Great, I'm if it's mine, I'm honored to be a part of your journey. If it's somebody else's, amazing, do that too. But if you know that watching a video is the thing that helps make you feel alive, bold, confident, you know that there are some days that watching a video actually makes you feel that way, and other days where it doesn't. And you know that watching the same video over and over and over and over every day will lose its impact super quick, right? Day 1, you're motivated. Day 2, already you've lost like 80% of the motivation that you got from day 1. Day 3, it's basically over. You run it for a month, forget it. Like you've already memorized the words, that the words don't mean anything to you anymore. So you have to have some variety. And if you're watching a video while you're doing something else, this is the achiever's curse. You're watching a video while you're brushing your teeth, while you're taking the dogs out, while you're cleaning the sink, while you're making the bed. You're distracted, you're doing something else, you're trying to multitask.
right? Here's what happens to the achievers. You still get to check the box to say that you watched the video. But because you weren't present for the video, guess what happens? There was no retention. There was no feeling. You don't feel ready to take on the day. You don't feel the boldness, the courageousness, and therefore you don't go and have a great day, even though you checked off everything on your morning routine. That's what makes a difference. So if you get to the end of your morning routine and you don't feel bold, powerful, courageous, ready to go for the day, there's one of two things that you have to do. One is you audit your morning routine. You say, what's missing? You know, like, does this still work for you anymore? What's missing? Do I need to add something in? Do I need to add an espresso video in during the morning? Do I need to add reading? Do I need to add working out? Do I need to add writing my goals down? Like, what do you need to do to add and tweak and experiment and see if it makes you feel better? Or two, maybe you just need to do the routine again, but with more intention. Maybe you did the whole routine while you were distracted. Maybe you did the whole routine while you're thinking of something else. So you don't get the feeling. There's nothing wrong with the routine. The routine is great. The routine is perfect for you. But if you don't show up with intention, if you don't show up and be focused on it, you're not going to get the feeling. You could sit there and be in the chair. You know, think about going to classes, going to school. You could sit there and be in the chair. It doesn't mean that you're going to learn. You could sit there and watch a video, but if you're brushing your teeth and doing 8 other things, you're not going to get the feeling. This is the loving push forward that I hope you accept. Because everybody else is going to look at you and see how much you're doing and how perfect you are and how much momentum you have and how many things you're doing, and they look up to you in awe, and you're an inspiration to them. And you should be, because you are doing amazing things. And at the same time, you know it's nothing compared to what you could do. But the difference between where you are right now and where you want to go is actually not that big. The difference is just minor tweaks between where you are right now and where you want to go. For most of you, it's just minor tweaks. This is one of those minor tweaks. That if you could just stay consistent on having a morning routine, and then inside of that consistency, doing the thing that makes you feel bold, powerful, unstoppable, alive, ready to start the day, not expecting to be amazing when you wake up, but then doing the thing that brings that out of you every single day, your life will change. Immediate action, to start building some kind of momentum. This is the problem. This is what we're missing. What's the first step that most of us take? What's the first step that you take? What's the first step? You most often immediately start to talk yourself down. Does this relate? Does this connect? Like, as soon as you get the idea, immediately you're talking yourself down? Forget about telling friends, family that that's a problem. No, it's you. It's your own mind that's holding you back, saying that you can't do things. After that, what do? We go into planning mode. Plan. Gonna research, gonna make my perfect plan, gonna write out all my questions for this interview, gonna, research. And then what? And then what happens? Nothing. Because you spend the first day planning and you wake up tomorrow and you tell yourself that you can't do it. So the first step is not planning. Planning is important, but it's not the first step. The first step is some kind of immediate action. This is where people get caught up. It's like, well, what's a perfect first step? There is no perfect first. Guys, there's no perfect first step. There's no perfect first step. Go make, go create, go do something. Like something, anything. You want to write a book? Take out your notepad, let's say typewriter. Who uses a typewriter? Your laptop, your computer, whatever. And just start writing. Take out a piece of paper like this and just start writing. Like if you're stuck in the car and you come with a great idea for what you should be doing for your book, pull over, or if somebody else is driving, Nina drives while I film these videos. Take out a piece of paper and just start writing on this. You may think, but this is nothing, and you're right. But you know what's something? The first step. Momentum, because your scribble notes down here, that means everything. That's more progress than most people ever make on their goals. Because once you get started, the next step becomes so much easier. It's the first step that sucks. The first step that seems so giant. So don't worry about the perfect first step. Just start building some immediate momentum. Learn to take crappy first steps. Crappy first steps. Crappy first steps.
This is where intentional learning really makes a difference. I can't tell you the number of events that I've done, whether it's virtual or in person, where there's always Q&A at some point. So if you're going to an event where you're signing up for a Zoom call and the person who you want to learn from is on that call, what most people do is they become passive listeners. You're passively taking out your notepad and you're taking notes. You got your phone and you're like taking notes on it and like, oh, that's a good insight. That's a good insight. But it's passive because you are not going in to the event with an outcome. Your goal should be, if you want to make learning active, if you want to actually get the most from the experience and be able to make the contacts and get your questions answered, you have to know what the question is going to be that you're going to ask, right? So here's what you should do. First off, whoever your heroes, mentors, guides are, you want to follow them on all the platforms where they can go live. Just before this, I was live on Instagram and we had a whole bunch of people asking questions. If you want to talk to me, follow me on Instagram. Right? Join my Discord, evancarmichael.biz. Get in there. We're having great conversations. But the people who are your heroes, follow them on the platforms where they might go live. Look at where they might be speaking at an upcoming event. And then when you go and attend that event, have a plan for your learning so that it's not just passively going through the exercise and activities that they gave you. That's all a bonus. If you're going to go to some conference and there's an activity sheet or workbook to go through, great, that's all a bonus. You need to know going in, what do I want to learn? If I got a chance to ask this person one question, what would that question be? What's the outcome that I want from this? Most people don't do that. And you get caught up in the hype and the energy and the motivation of, wow, it's so amazing, woo! But then you still didn't get the answer that you could have had if you're just more intentional. So you show up, and then when they do the questions, like, okay, we're going to Q&A. Boom, you're the first one there. You're the first one there. You might be nervous. Your heart might be pounding out of your chest like crazy, but you're the first one there. You're standing by the microphone. You're ready to go. You got your hand up before they even go to Q&A in the Zoom chat, right? Like you are ready to go with your question, the one that you want an answer to. And then you're going to ask the person, hey, here's what I'm struggling with. Here's what I'm working on. Tell me why I suck. And then you get the feedback. If you apply that strategy and go after the top 5 to 10 people in your industry, in your niche, who are doing a thing, you can get access to them. And if you intentionally show up with that one question that you want an answer to, and then you end it with, tell me why I suck, you'll get their brutal, honest feedback and get the advice you actually need to grow. Apply the 2% difference. The 2% difference means as soon as you get a goal in mind, most things that we want to do, most people, what we do is we think of planning. That's step number 1 for most people is planning. No, don't plan. Your first step after you come up with an idea is to act. Planning is important. It's just not your first step. Most people will plan their way to 100%, right? Plan to how I'm going to accomplish my goal. And then they wake up tomorrow, they've lost the boldness, they lost the confidence, and they say, I'm not going to do that. I can't do that. And there's no momentum. And then the dream dies on the table. The first step is momentum. The first step is action. The first step is figuring out the first 2%. That's it. 2%. Don't plan to 100%. Instead, act on the first 2%. Why is it so important? Because when you're feeling bold, when you're feeling confident, when you get that idea, it's flowing through you, right? You're in that energy zone. You want to use that energy to build momentum. Using that best energy to go into planning and then you wake up tomorrow a different person, you've lost it all. Where if you use that energy into action, into momentum, then tomorrow you're going to wake up and see, oh, I've already built some momentum. It's easier to keep the ball rolling. The hardest step is the first one. So push, build that first step when you're feeling the energy. So as soon as you get your next idea, apply the 2% difference. Your first step is to act.
Great ideas flow through you. Teach yourself, train yourself that great ideas are flowing through you, that the idea that you just came up with, that you've been thinking of, that doesn't make any sense, is great, is amazing, and is right for you, because quite often, the ideas that come to you don't make sense, are not practical. Someone like you shouldn't do it. And whenever your head and your heart are misaligned, whenever your heart wants to do something, but your head tells you that you can't do it, if you listen to your head, you'll stay small. If you listen to the practical reasons why you can't do it, then guess what? You won't do it. You'll stay stuck, you'll stay small, you'll stay crushed for life, knowing that you're capable of more, but never going after it. So trust that great things flow through you. Trust that this thing that just came into your mind, if you're feeling bold, ambitious, confidence, in service, that it's the right thing for you and you need to go and chase it down.
The biggest mistake so many entrepreneurs make is they jump into a business because they see that it's a hot opportunity. You don't love it, you don't know much about it, but so many people are talking about it and it looks like an easy way to make a lot of money. Big mistake. Don't do that. It's the fastest way to go broke. So Warren Buffett did not invest in Amazon, but he's still done pretty well for himself. He didn't invest in Amazon because he doesn't like tech, he doesn't know it, he doesn't love it, he doesn't live in that space, and so he doesn't want to buy those kinds of companies. And great, he missed out on Amazon, but he also missed out on all the tech companies that didn't make it, that he could have put money into that just would have gone to zero. He knows what he's great at, he knows what he loves, and he sticks in his arena. I look at what I'm doing. There's so many opportunities that come my way that I know nothing about, I have no interest in, and don't want to have interest in, that I'm losing money on, right? I don't like real estate. I hate real estate. I don't want to be in it. I don't want to learn about it. I don't like real estate. It's not that it's not a good opportunity. It's just not for me. It's boring to me. I have zero interest in real estate. It's great for so many people. So many people have built amazing wealth and generational wealth based off of real estate. Amazing. I'm pumped for you. It's just not the thing that I want to be in. Cryptocurrency, right? People, when Bitcoin was taking off, everybody was a cryptocurrency expert. I know nothing about cryptocurrency. I've bought zero cryptocurrency in my life. I've been given zero cryptocurrency in my life. Is cryptocurrency the future? Yep. When is it gonna come? I don't know. Is it gonna be Bitcoin? I don't know. I don't know anything about cryptocurrency. I get the mechanics and the general theory and I know that it's coming, but it's not the opportunity for me. CBD is a big thing now, right? Everybody's getting into CBD and CBD oils and CBD products, and great. And it's becoming legal here in Canada, or it already is legal in a bunch of our provinces, and it's going to be legalized across many states, if not the whole country. Awesome. It's not me. I'm not into CBD. I don't smoke any marijuana. I never have. I'm not interested in it. It may help you, it may alleviate your pain, amazing. This may be the greatest gift you've ever seen in your life, amazing. But if you're only jumping into it because you think it's a hot opportunity, you're gonna lose. That being said, I'm also involved in so many things that are hot opportunities. I'm drowning in opportunities. I have too many opportunities that I know what to do with, let alone don't know what to do with. Looking at YouTube. YouTube right now is still a massive opportunity. There's so many people who look at what I've done, who look at what Gary Vee done and Grant Cardone and those guys have done, they say, I wanna do it. YouTube is blowing up, it's popping, it's exploding. If you're a thought leader, if you wanna have educational content, YouTube is still a huge opportunity. Most people who are the experts at what they do are not on YouTube. That means you can go on, even with a little bit less expertise, and go and crush it, because the people who are the best in the world are doing it, they're not doing it. It's a huge opportunity. It's a big white space still right now. Even though I've been on it for 10 years, YouTube has evolved a lot over the past decade, and there's still tons of white space open and available. I need to push that opportunity harder. I look at thought leadership as another one. Thought leadership, the stuff that I'm doing, the videos like this, the teaching that I've done, the workshops that I've done. People want to be a thought leader, not just an influencer, but a thought leader. And I'm at the center of that trend. I'm helping train a lot of thought leaders. People are coming to me asking me for help in becoming a thought leader, in making content, in being able to do good videos, and being able to get speaking gigs, book deals, all of it. People want it. It's happening. And I'm at the center of that trend too. League of Legends. I love League of Legends. I've been playing League of Legends for, this is 6 years. This is my 6th year playing League of Legends. I played Teemo. Look, I got Teemo here. I got Teemo here. I got Tristana here. I've named my dogs Teemo and Tristana, right? I play 3 games a night on my Twitch stream. You can come to my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/BelieveTeam. Come join me. I play there 3 games a night. I'm trying to get the gold this season, which means I'm in the top 10% of players in North America. So it's my ambition for the year. I watch League of Legends every weekend. I have a TSM jersey. Let me get it. I have a TSM jersey. I'm a fan. I love League of Legends. I love esports. If you're getting into esports, just because it's a hot opportunity and you don't love it, you're gonna die, you're gonna lose. I look at Gary Vee as an example, and Gary's done an amazing job in hip hop. An amazing job in hip hop, and he's brought so many different artists on, from the top of Nipsey Hussle all the way down to people who are just breaking in and trying to get their start. He loves hip hop, he loves the lyrics, he loves the culture, and so he's really built a name for himself inside of hip hop. he got into Twitch a little bit. He had a Twitch studio set up in his office and he started doing a little bit of gaming, but he's not a gamer. He hasn't done gaming in decades. And so it's not authentic for him, and so he's not gonna win there. I love esports. I love League of Legends. I love gaming. It's part of what I do. I can talk to you about the current roster for TSM and my thoughts on it. I can talk to you about the new patch that came out on League of Legends and how Teemo's doing. I like it. It's just, I genuinely like it. And so I have these opportunities in front of me already within YouTube, within thought leadership, within esports that I can take advantage of and blow up in. And I don't need to worry about real estate and cryptocurrency and CBD and all the other millions of opportunities out there. There's already tons of opportunities inside the things that you already know and love. The things that you know and love, there's lots of people who know and love that thing too. And they're looking for guidance, they're looking for help, they need answers. You could be the person who gives them the answers. Jumping on some train because you think it's a hot opportunity and a chance to make money is the fastest way that you will lose money, because you don't understand anything about that. If you don't love esports, don't go spend money on an esports team. You're gonna lose, you don't even know what you're doing. Inside the things that you love and know is a tremendous opportunity, and that's what you need to focus on. Most people suck at creating work-life balance or harmony because you're constantly comparing what you're doing to other people's schedules. Of all the things that you need to figure out in life, what balance means to you is among the most important. Jeff Bezos jokes about optimizing his toothbrushing routine because he's trying to maximize his efficiency, while Warren Buffett reads for 5 to 6 hours every day. You can't do both, and you need to stop comparing yourself to someone who you're not. It's crazy how much balance and scheduling comes up. I think most people are lost. I think again, the biggest problem is you're just comparing yourself to other people, and then you don't know where to stand. You don't know what rock to stand on, and so you feel like you're pulled in 1,000 different directions. When I went on my tour this year, and I'm sure it's gonna come up on the next one again, people kept asking, what does balance mean to you? How do I find balance in my life? And I used to joke, one of the funniest jokes that I told, and I'm not that funny, so this is one of the funny moments, was when I was talking about The Rock. And The Rock has his routine where he's working out for 4 hours a day. He has to work out for 4 hours a day. And so when he's doing his movies, he wakes up 5 hours before he has to be on set, and he'll work out for his 4 hours, and he'll do 2 times cardio and 2 times weights, and then go to his trailer, shower, and then head out to the movies. And he's only sleeping 4 to 5 hours a night when he's on set. I think that's crazy, but I don't look like The Rock. And that's when people would laugh, because I don't look like The Rock. But it's true. People will try to take on The Rock's schedule, but you have other priorities. What The Rock values isn't the same thing as you value. There may be some overlap and some similarities, and there's nothing wrong with trying on the hat. There's nothing wrong with attempting to do it. There's nothing wrong with seeing how it fits, right? To get pieces, to say, hey, I'm gonna try meditating, I'm gonna try working out, I'm gonna try making a video, I'm gonna try morning pages, awesome, great, yes. But then to judge yourself to say, well, I'm not able to stay consistent on that, it's not what you should be doing. Because you want to work out 4 hours a day, and you want to read 5 hours a day like Warren Buffett, and you want to optimize your toothbrush routine like Jeff Bezos, and you want to do all these different things, but it's too many hours in a day. What you have to figure out is, how does balance look like for you? And then not be ashamed to go off and live it when everybody else thinks you're nuts. Doing what you are afraid of is your path to success. Every time you take on something new that scares you, that pushes your comfort zone, that requires you to stretch, on the other side of that scary thing is the new you who is now capable of more. Most people, they shrink from scary things because they're scary. But if you want to win, if you want to hit your ambitious goals, then you have to teach yourself that you do scary things. So I recently came back from 2 pretty significant speaking gigs in my career as I'm building up and speaking on bigger stages. The first was when I was speaking at Brendan Burchard's event, and it's his Growth.com event. And Brendan, one of the greatest speakers in the world, invited me to come and talk to his group of a couple thousand people. And then I went to Ed Milet's event just recently in Whistler. And this is a smaller group, 100 so people, but they pay $60,000 a year to be a part of his program. And so they're coming to learn from the best. He sandwiched me between David Goggins and Peyton Manning. So it's David Goggins, and then me, and then Peyton Manning. That was the lineup. And so when I was backstage at the Brendan event,
I remember moments before going on stage, I was the most scared that I'd been in a long time. The most nervous, the most anxious. I was afraid of disappointing people. My biggest fear is letting people down. My biggest fear is that I'm gonna let Brendan down and Dean Graziosi, who they both brought me there. And I was just gonna suck on stage. That was my biggest fear. And so I had a mini panic attack backstage. 5 minutes before going up, I have this mini panic attack, and I'm forgetting what I'm gonna say. I imagine myself going on stage and just blanking out. And I tell myself, I'm Evan Carmichael. I do difficult things. I love difficult things. If I don't do difficult things, I'm never gonna accomplish great things. So I have to do difficult things. I love it. I thrive on difficult things. And then I remembered what I was gonna say. And then I went out and I did my thing. And now when I went to Ed's event, I wasn't as nervous. I wasn't as afraid. I was still scared. I was still afraid of letting down Ed Milet, letting down Andy Frisella, who they both brought me there, being between David Goggins and Peyton Manning and just being outshone. Everybody knows them. They may not know me. All of it, all of the fears and doubts, but less than what I had at Brendan's event. Not because it wasn't as big a deal, but because I had just done it. Because speaking on stage to a couple thousand people at Brendan's event and having that panic attack and getting through it changed who I was, made me stronger, made me more capable of doing the next thing. And the next thing was Ed's thing. And so if I hadn't gone to Brendan's, I would be terrified going to Ed's thing. So every time you take on these difficult challenges, you might have the panic attack. You might have the anxiety inside you. You might have that little voice to say, you can't do it. What if you fail? What if you disappoint people? What if you lose respect? What if it doesn't work out? But you know what's worse? You know what's worse than going up and failing? Not trying. Not doing it. Finding some reason, finding some excuse to say you're sick, you're busy, you can't make it. But in the back of your head, you know you were just afraid. And the last thing you want to do is teach yourself that when you are afraid, that when you have an opportunity in front of you and you're afraid to do it, that you say no. You don't want to teach yourself that. You teach yourself the opposite. That when you're afraid, that when there's something in front of you that you want to do, but you're scared, you're anxious, you're worried about letting people down, that you jump in and you say, I'm all in because I do scary things. Most people never hit their goals because they don't structure their life towards actually accomplishing those goals. You can say that you want something. You can say that this is your ambition and your goal, but unless it's in your calendar, unless you start actually working towards it, you're never going to accomplish it. Dreams stay dreams because there is no momentum. Let's talk about how to get it. One of the common questions I get asked when I'm doing my live stream, when I'm doing my interviews, when I'm doing my tour, my stops, people almost always will ask me, how many hours sleep do you get? When you go to bed, when you get up, how much do you sleep every night? Right now, I'm sleeping 9 hours a day. I sleep 9 hours. I did a sleep study. I was sleeping around 8 and was still tired when I woke up. And so I went and did an overnight sleep study and they told me, I'm looking for the hack. I'm like, hey, you're deficient in magnesium, so just take these and you can sleep 7 and be normal. He said, no, nothing wrong with you. You just need to sleep 9 hours a night. That's healthy for you. I was like, what? That's healthy? Are you kidding me? What are you talking about? Nobody sleeps 9 hours a night. He's like, yeah, between 6 and 10 is actually, that's the normal range. The whole 8 hours a night is a myth. So I felt bad and I'm still trying to hack it. So I sleep 9 hours a night. I don't wake up to an alarm. And people assume that I'm only sleeping 3, 4, or 5 hours a night because of how productive I am during the day. This is it, right? You could sleep 12 hours a night and crush it in the other 12 hours. Most people default to thinking they need to wake up an hour early. Say, well, if I wake up at 5 a.m. or at 4 a.m., I'm gonna be more productive. If you are not productive for 16 hours a day, then adding an extra hour to that's not gonna make you that much more productive. The problem isn't what time you wake up, the problem is what you're doing with the hours that you're awake. And so as much as possible, what I try to do is make every second intentional. I'm not always able to achieve that, especially not every second, but I try to make everything intentional. I try to make where I'm spending time is intentional. I'm in the present. I'm not thinking about something else. I'm here with you guys making this video right now. All I think about is this video that I'm making for you right now. Where's Nina right now? I don't know. Where's my cell phone? Well, it's right here because I can see it. But where are my keys? I don't know. Where are my dogs? I don't know. What am I doing after this? I have no idea. I'm focused and I'm with you right now. Most people live in the past. Most people are thinking about what could have been. Most people are regretting the decisions that they made, and they're procrastinating because they're afraid of doing things, because they don't want to do things. All things that prevent you from actually doing.
That's the biggest problem. You're a genius. You're the best in the world at something. You can go off and make amazing things. The problem is your time is not being used efficiently. It's not being used effectively either. You haven't structured your life to help you accomplish your goals. Look at your big goals. Look at your big goals. Like, what's the next big goal that you have for yourself? You may not have one. If you don't have one, then you got to figure out what your purpose is, because that's the greatest thing of all time, right? Get the book, Built to Serve. You'll figure it out. You'll be ignited. But your next big goal, now look at your calendar. Are you aligning what's in your calendar, your daily habits, towards you accomplishing your goals? And for most people, it's no. Or you have it listed, but you're not doing it because you look at it and you get afraid and you procrastinate on it. So trying to cut that down to almost zero. Even before making these videos, before making expressive videos, I have a couple minutes of procrastination. I go and make sure I get my water. I go and maybe have a keto bar, just pacing around a little bit because I'm nervous about making the videos because I want them to be the best videos that I've ever made. It's always my intention. But too many people live in hours or days or months of procrastination instead of doing it. You get the results by doing it. It's the only way. You will never get the results by just thinking about it. You can be motivated, amazing, you can have the mindset, awesome. That's half the equation. The other half is doing. You have to actually just go out there and do. You need to structure your life to allow you to accomplish your goals. People are afraid to tell the truth. You're afraid to tell the people around you the truth that could actually help them, that could serve them. You're afraid to tell them the truth because you're afraid that they're gonna judge you. You're afraid they're gonna reject you. You're afraid they're not gonna take it well. You're afraid they're gonna be sensitive. But you're actually doing everybody a disservice. And you're gonna walk away from the conversation feeling like, I could have helped them. I could have been more valuable to them. I could have saved them from making a really bad decision, a really big mistake, all because you were afraid to tell the truth. Whenever I'm meeting somebody, I go to an event, I just came back from an event in Dallas, Video Marketing World. Whenever I'm meeting somebody that I wanna learn from, I will start off saying, hey man, tell me why I suck. Tell me why I suck. If I'm looking at my YouTube thumbnails or my titles or me on camera or any part of something that I wanna improve and work on, tell me why I suck. Now why? Why do that? Well, it's not just because I'm a glutton for punishment, right? I don't want people just yelling and raging at me. It's because when you do that, when you lead with that, when you say, tell me why I suck, it gives the other person the permission to be honest with you. Because they have advice that can help you. They have advice that might be able to change your business or your life, but they're gonna hedge. They're gonna play it safe. They're not gonna tell you what you need to hear because they're afraid of offending you. They're afraid of hurting your feelings. And so you open up and you say, tell me that I suck and why. And then invariably what the answer is, well, you don't suck, but you know, you could do this, this, and that. And they'll tell you what you need to fix. Where otherwise, if you didn't lead with the tell me why I suck, they would hedge and they wouldn't tell you everything that's on their mind. They wouldn't tell you the thing that you need the most, which is their honest, brutal opinion on what you do. Now, it doesn't mean that you suck as a human. You're amazing as a human. It just means you don't have the skill set. You're not good at this one thing that this person is an expert at and can help you. And so the next time you're going to an event or you're talking to somebody who might be able to help you, lead with it. Lead with it. Say, I respect you. I love what you do. I'm trying to work on this. Tell me why I suck. And then watch the honesty come through. Nobody wakes up every day and says, this is gonna be the greatest day ever. Not Dan Locke, not Evan Carmichael, not Tony Robbins, nobody. You wake up and you're tired and you have stuff in your eyes and you have lines on your face from the pillows. The difference between successful people is that they demand excellence from themselves to the habits and routines that they do daily. The problem is that thinking that these people are different. That if you're not waking up with tons of motivation ready to take on the day, that something is wrong with you. The only thing that's wrong with you is you don't have the habits that set you up for success every single day. And today, I want to change that. So I have a 5S morning routine that I go through every single day that sets me up for success, that demands excellence. I'm going to share with you guys today. The first S is sing. The fastest way to change your state is to put on music. The fastest way to go from feeling low energy, tired, bored, into an energy of I am ready to go is music. Put on the song, not that makes you feel the current way that you're feeling. This is where most people mess up. You put on music for how you're currently feeling. If you're feeling really sad and low energy, you're gonna put on really mellow, slow music. What does that do? It keeps you in the same state that you're in. It keeps you exactly where you are. What you want to do is put on the music for how you want to feel. And so I have a playlist on my main channel called the Believe playlist, which is the songs that I listen to. These are the songs that I listen to every day. They may work for you, they may not work for you. There's no perfect song for everybody. There's a perfect song for you. And so build a playlist of the songs that make you come alive. Here's the criteria. If this song came on, it would force you to start moving. If the song came on, you find yourself doing this. If the song came on, you would get out of your chair and want to move around. Doesn't mean you're gonna dance like crazy. Doesn't mean you're gonna start belting out the lyrics. That may be you, awesome. But if you're a little more introverted or don't like to dance, something that would make you move, something that would get you at least in your chair doing this. That's what I want. Make a playlist and put that on as the first thing that you do every single morning. It'll make a huge difference to setting the tone, changing your state, and giving you energy and momentum to start the day. S number 2 is sun. I like getting outside. I think there's something about getting outside of your home, of your condo, your apartment, getting outside, getting some fresh air, just being out in nature makes a big difference. Getting some vitamins on your face from the sun outside, but also signifying that you're leaving your bedroom, you're leaving the condo, the apartment, the home, you're leaving what happened last night, and you're ready to go off and start the day. This is especially important if you're working from home, because it's easy to have your office right next to your bedroom, or maybe your office is your bedroom, and carry that bedroom energy, that tired, I just woke up, I want to stay in bed, I want to sleep energy into your work, and you won't do great things if that's the energy you're carrying to your work. So having some kind of ritual that splits up sleeping energy to I'm ready to go energy makes a big difference, and I find the easiest way to do it is to get outside and get some sun. Bonus points if you're in a condo or apartment to take the stairs instead of the elevator. S number 3 is soar, and this is the most important thing for me. If you only take one of the 5, I think this is the most important one to take. What is the thing that makes you soar every day? What's the thing that makes you feel alive, bold, confident? What is that? And put it into your morning routine. At some point in your life, you felt bold. You felt unstoppable. You felt confident. It's happened to everybody. The problem is you don't feel that way consistently every day. You go through these bursts, these moments of, man, I could do such amazing things, but then the next day you wake up and you're a different person. You're back to the, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know. Who am I to go do this crazy thing? That's the problem. So whatever the thing is that makes you feel like you can come alive, that gives you that boldness and confidence, plan it with intention every single day into your morning routine. For me, what I do is I record a message on my phone to Instagram, to my stories, I put it to LinkedIn and Twitter. Right now I'm putting it everywhere, but I need to make a message. So I think of somebody that I helped yesterday. I think of somebody who commented on a video, who I met in person, who I coached on my Instagram Live, somebody that I helped yesterday. And then I make a message channeling that person. I won't say the person's name, but I have them in my head that I need to remind myself that the work that I do is important. It's easy to get lost in numbers. It's hard to imagine that 200,000 to 300,000 people watched my videos yesterday. That's crazy. It's a wild number, right? It's wild. It's hard to, like, what does it even mean? I don't know. I'm just sitting here talking to a camera in my office, and 200,000 to 300,000 people are watching my videos. It's crazy. I need to think down to the actual person. I need to think about an individual, that this matters to somebody, that the work I do really means something to them. And then I need to record a message and share it. That helps me soar, and I do it every day. What is the thing for you? What makes you soar? Maybe it's watching the 254 series that I put up every day. Maybe it's watching the espresso videos like this that I put up every day. And some people, every day, this is part of the morning routine, is watching an espresso video, and I'm humbled to be part of your morning routine. For other people, it might be meditating, it might be watching a video, it might be reading a book, listening to a podcast. I don't care what the thing is. But you have felt bold, unstoppable, and confident at some point in your life. What led you to feeling that way, and then demand it of yourself every day by putting it into your morning routine? The third S is soar. It's the most important one. The fourth S for me is sweat. This is just about being healthy, having a healthy lifestyle, and I want to do something that makes me sweat. So whether it's a HIIT workout, a cardio workout, a weights workout, I put that into my daily routine because I want to bust a sweat and I want to stay healthy into my 40s, which is coming up, and then into my 50s and beyond. And then the last S for me is scare. I want to do something every day that scares me. What I'm doing right now is I take a cold shower. So after sweating, I need to have a shower. Don't want to show up to work all smelly. And so I hop in the shower, but right away start turning it colder and colder and colder and colder and colder. And then right at the very end, I go all the way cold and I freeze. And even just thinking of it right now, it sucks. which is the best, right? You want to do the thing that scares you every day. You're teaching yourself that I do scary things. So whatever is scary for you, whether it's taking a cold shower, whether it's making a phone call, whether it's sending an email, making a video and posting it, doing scary things, teaching yourself, getting that out of the way right from the beginning, I find really helps me. Your actions have to map to your ambitions. In a one-off situation, you can always be grateful for what happened. When I broke my neck in Colorado, I'm grateful for the opportunity. The opportunity to learn, to push myself, to get better, but did it map to my ambitions, right? Whenever you're stuck in a one-off situation, you can, yes, always default to gratitude, but if you get the choice, this is the difference between living an intentional versus a reactionary life. If you're just grateful for everything that happens to you and see it as a journey, yes, and you've learned, yes, great, but is it the journey that you want to be on? It's a journey that will get you to where you want to go. Because if the person who wants to hit the town ends up on the farm, maybe he's not happy. Maybe that's not his ambitions. Now, you might say that actually served him. That is something that he should have gone down, right? Every road leads to somewhere. But is it the road that you want to go down? Do your actions map to your ambitions? I think it's really important. The guy who climbed the tree, amazing, right? If his goal was to be there fastest, to take the shortest path, that's the path he should take. And yes, he was right and the others were wrong. He was right for him because he wanted to take the shortest path. Do your actions map to your ambitions? You have goals. Look at your calendar. Look at how you're scheduling your time. Look at where you're spending time, what you're doing it on. Will the actions that you're taking lead you to accomplish the goals that you're trying to go after? If yes, amazing. If not, switch things up. I think too often people have hopes and dreams and desires and ambitions, but then their schedule doesn't match up. You say you want to do this, but when I look at your calendar, it doesn't show me that you're doing it. If you want to have a YouTube channel, show me in your calendar where you're making YouTube videos. For too many people, it's never. You're just not doing it, ever. So then it just becomes a hope, a dream, a wish, a someday. Someday's not a day of the week, right? You got to put it in your calendar. Make sure your actions map to your ambitions. The problem isn't that you're not a genius, that you're not talented, that you don't have wisdom and abilities and resourcefulness, and that you're not Michael Jordan. That's not the problem. The problem is you're not focused. You're not doing the things that you need to do. I just came back from Video Marketing World in Dallas, and I was being asked about where to spend your time, which social media sites to spend time on. And I think this is a classic example of where entrepreneurs fail. Is you're trying to do everything, and as a result, you suck everywhere and feel burnt out, tapped out, and not building momentum. If you get to the end of a week and you feel like you worked your face off, but you look back and what did I get done? If that's how you're ending a week, you worked hard and you feel like, what did I get done? You're not focused. You're switching between tasks too much. Instead of having all of these social media sites at the same time, pick one and crush it. I quoted Andrew Carnegie at my event, at my speech. My favorite quote from him is, put all your eggs in one basket and then watch that basket. Everybody's saying diversify, diversify, diversify. Have 18 different multiple streams of income. Look at the people who are one person show with 18 streams of income, they're making no money. You're making $10 a month from this and $25 a month from that and 18 cents from this. You're not making money. Now, as you build and scale and grow and you have a team like I do, I've got 24 people on my team, okay, great, now it might be time to diversify. But as a solo person, you can't do everything yourself. And you are a genius, you have Michael Jordan level talent at something, and that's what you need to find. And that's what you need to spend as much time as possible on until you're making money, you can invest back into your business and continue to grow. People don't show up for one of three reasons. Number one is you're afraid. You're afraid of rejection, you're afraid of failure, you're afraid of it not working out, and so you just don't show up. Number two is you're not consistent. You show up some days, but you don't show up other days because you don't have the routines and habits in place to make you show up consistently every single day. And number three is you don't want to. You don't want to show up because you don't actually enjoy the thing that you're about to do. You would rather procrastinate on it because you don't love it, and showing up is more painful than just sitting around. So my goal today with this video is to help you bust through these so that you can show up for life and have the impact that you want to have. So I think the fear of showing up is actually a good thing. It means that you are doing something different, something outside your comfort zone, something that is not normal, that is new, and that's good. You want to be pushing the envelope. If there was nothing that you were afraid to show up to today, tomorrow, next week, then you're not growing, you're not learning, you're not pushing against your boundaries and comfort zones. And so even today, I had to show up. And again, it should be every single day. So today, I was procrastinating on sending out an email to Grant, as well as a couple other people, where I'm looking at doing more collaborations, more work on my YouTube channel, more cross-pollination connection to other successful YouTubers to help the whole entrepreneur YouTube community grow, right? I want to get the message out there. I want to be playing a bigger game. And so I emailed Grant and I emailed 4 other people with a new idea that I had. So when the idea was first suggested to me about doing this and reaching out, I had a little bit of nerves, like, okay, it's gonna require an ask. I might get rejected, it may not work out. And I had it scheduled for today, because today was my YouTube day. And so I look at the list today, I'm like, maybe I should start with 1 person or 2 people, or just pick the easy people. And just the fact that I felt that, just the fact that that was one of the reasons meant I had to go and do 5. I had to do a bigger number. I had to go after the harder people. I had to do the people that I thought may say yes, may say no, may make me look bad if they say no. And a lot of it is just head games. The honest truth is, Grant's probably not gonna care. Grant's probably gonna say yes. Like 98% chance he says yes, and he passes it on to somebody on his team. We start working together and we create the collaboration. 1% chance he ignores it, and 1% chance he says no. But it's not the logical, rational things that hold us back. It's the emotional, fearful things. And so what I've trained myself to do is anytime I feel that oh my God, it may not work out, then I have to do it. I have to do it. I have just to show myself, because the worst thing you can do is get to the edge of the cliff and say you're gonna jump and then not jump. It's better not to catch that you're nervous. It's better not to even come up with the idea, to just float around in ignorance. Ignorance is bliss, than to catch it and then play small. And so as soon as you catch it, I've trained myself, I want you to do the same thing. As soon as you catch it, train yourself to do it. Even if it doesn't work out, just training yourself that you don't back down when you are afraid. Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video, because you are awesome.
If you want to watch a top 10 rules of Tom Bilyeu, check out the video next to me. I think you're gonna enjoy. Continue to believe. I will see you there.
I'm okay if I don't become the ultimate version of what I could become, but I won't tolerate not trying.
The people that win are not the smartest. It is always the people